So, today's topic is going to be about perspective and mastering the skill of viewing things, of always viewing things from the higher perspective. And so, what I mean by that is choosing to see the silver lining, I guess, in anything that occurs in your life or happens. And so, first, let's kind of discuss what is perspective. So, I'm sure you've heard about, like, there's so many, especially in the spiritual community, perspective is a really, really big topic. And it's always been kind of one of my fascination points of perspective and how your perspective changes as you gain more experience or knowledge, and how everybody's perspective is different based on their experience and knowledge. And so, kind of like how two people can be standing in the same place, see the same exact thing, but their stories or when they talk about or like explain it to another person, their stories are both slightly different. And it's because their perspective of the situation is different. Sometimes even personal bias can affect one's perspective or skew one's perspective. So when I say seeing the highest perspective of a situation, I mean changing the way you look at it. So I can't remember which master said this quote, but change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. It's a very powerful quote. I'm sure most people have heard it before. But that's exactly kind of what I'm talking about. And so to give you guys a real full understanding, I want to talk about my epiphany that I had, actually. I think it was like last night or the night before, that made me feel like I want to share this message for others. So all of us, I was like laying in bed and my mind was just going, and I was kind of allowing my thoughts to go wherever they took me, which is sometimes intense or scary. Anyways, so I started having flashbacks and memories of some of my childhood trauma, some past traumas. And, I was just kind of allowing myself to like watch these snippets as they were coming up in my head. And at first, when it first was happening and I was, remembering all these things, I first began to victim mode myself, like, my trauma was so severe, that was so hard, and just kind of was looking at it from a very victim perspective, and a very like, I was allowing myself to get a knot in my stomach, and I was allowing these thoughts to kind of disturb my peace. And then I was like, I took back my own power. I took back my own power and my own control. And I didn't try and change my thoughts or hide those past traumas or those memories or push them out of my brain like I've done before. Instead, I decided to stop and think about, what did those traumas teach me? And I began to think about all the things that I gained and learned and experienced from my experiences. And I realized that I learned compassion from my trauma. My trauma taught me how to be compassionate for others and for myself and for people that are in a dark place. My trauma taught me boundaries, and how important it is to create boundaries for myself and to not allow codependency or codependent relationships to take over. It taught me strength and resilience. And the most important thing that my trauma taught me and that I gained from it was unconditional love. I truly was able to experience And through my experience, I was able to fully know what unconditional love is. And that is the greatest gift of all. And that's when I realized that sometimes we go through hard or awful or traumatic things. And while it doesn't take away from what you've been through, there comes a time after you've done the shadow work and you've worked through those traumas and all of that, that you could look at it from the higher perspective and said, what did this teach me? What can I take from this? What did I gain from this? And in that moment that I switched my perspective from victim mode to the higher perspective, and I started having gratitude about everything that I've learned from it, my whole body started tingling. So instead of that pit in my stomach and that heavy chest I started to feel tingly and buzzy and grateful, and I felt love. And I just wanted to share that with others because, yes, sometimes it's really hard to look at something so dark and see the light. But with a perspective change, you can do that. And that is how you heal and transmute trauma. And I believe the whole point of what we're doing here in this incarnation and in our earth and in this meat suit is to, well, number one and most importantly, is to expand and grow and evolve. And I believe we are the universe experiencing ourselves. And so we're here to experience. But I also believe that it's important to transmute our karmas. And there's going to be karma from this life and past lives. But when you can transmute it and turn it into neutralize it, when you can neutralize it. So instead of getting that pit in your stomach, you get those tinglies. When you could do that with all of your karma and all of your past trauma from this life and many lives, I believe that's liberation and freedom. And I believe that's what we're here to do, and that's what we can do. And it all comes back from taking back your power, changing the way you're viewing things, and choosing to see the benefit in every single thing and the divinity in every single thing that you experience and you go through, because everything is divine. There is nothing in this universe that is not divine. Like, for example, I'm sure many of us have read those stories on 9/11, and there was, those handful of people who, like one person had to go stop in a drugstore and get a Band-Aid because her shoe was rubbing on the back of her foot. And because of that inconvenience, she was not in the buildings when they came down. And sometimes in life, inconveniences, and these are for more minor than, the big traumas, but there's a reason. There's a reason for everything. And if we listen to the universe and we trust what's coming through and trust in the divinity of everything, even inconveniences, even traumas, even hardships are for a reason. They are for the greater purpose. And if you change your perspective and choose to see the highest perspective of everything, you'll begin to see the magic in every single thing that happens in this world. So that is the message I wanted to share. That's the message that came to me, the other night, last night, whatever night. And so that is what I am now going to be trying to integrate into my daily life with everything, is looking at things from the higher perspective. Where's the benefit? What is this teaching me? How can I make the most of what's happening to me? Because everything is divine and perfect. Thank you all so much. I hope this reaches you with love. I hope this helps somebody. I will see you guys next time. Thank you.